All right, we're going to see if we can make some progress here on Barbara. You may notice I've cleaned her up a little bit. I took it out in the backyard and took some brushes and scrapers and got rid of a lot of that dirt. So the appearance of this is better. I went into my spare parts area and found one of these. This is a self-priming plate because there's no little, I'm sorry, I guess it'd be over here. There's no little hole there for the primer air to come through. I've already got my little gasket on there. I'm going to set this aside for now, but that's what's going on. This is an old one that I borrowed this metal piece off of because that one had come off. You can see this is filthy, but the main reason I'm discarding this and not using it is because whoever owned this mower previously, I think they were using impact wrenches all over it because there were some really tight screws, and you know, you're screwing into soft aluminum on the carburetor and soft plastic here, and they've damaged this so much that they've actually broken it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's all bulged out and cracked right there. And so this, I call this a dual. Since this plug is in here, it was being used as a self-priming plate. But if you pop this out and put a primer bulb in there, then it has the path in it to become a primer type base. So it could have been used for either one, but it's so damaged that the head of the screw I could hardly get out. You can see how recessed it is, so I'm just going to throw this away. There's no reason to keep that. I just wanted to show it to you to show you what can happen when you over tighten these. So I'm going to be very careful not to over tighten that, because that's a very thin piece of plastic there between that hole and the chamber leading into the manifold. You can easily crack that piece, so you got to be careful with that. All right, I'm going to put my gloves on and try to put this carburetor on here, because this carburetor may work. If it doesn't, then I'll just put a new one on there. They're not that expensive for me. I've got the spring on, and slip it back on there, turn it this way, and then make a little turn of the L. It's not going too. Let me put a little drop of oil. I'm going to put a little drop of oil so it slides on a little easier right there in that hole. Right there in that little hole. So let me do that. One little drop of oil in there, and that'll help that slide on. Okay. So now let's see if it goes on a little easier. I'm making that L turn. Oh yeah, that made a big difference. So that manifold gasket looks okay, so I'm going to leave that on. It's not great, but it's okay. All right, so there's one of, that's how it's going to reassemble. Let me find one of my carburetor mounting screws, which has the little shoulder at the bottom. There's one. And where is the other one? I'm missing one of them. Let's see where that went. What are you? What are you? That's not one. That's not one. Hang on, guys. That's not one. There it is. This has the little shoulder at the bottom, and that helps hold that carburetor in place. There's no threads there. All right, so I'm going to kind of just put that in with my finger and use this extension to thread it in a little bit better. Now, I did use carb cleaner on this carburetor, and sometimes that's all it takes to make these things leak. around that rubber needle seat. But I was trying to be careful and not put too much in there where it would destroy that rubber. It can also destroy the rubber around the bowl gasket. All right, so we got that going. Okay, let me feel that. Yep, that's pretty good. I'm going to take this screw out because I don't need it to stabilize this anymore. If I do, I'll just come back and put it back in. Well, actually, I guess I'll leave it in there until I get the plate on. So I do need to put the fuel tank on. I need to reinstall this this coil, but I've got to find the long screw that functions to hold the linkage, this long arm, plastic arm that connects to the carburetor. Some people call it an air vane. I do not. Let me see if this one's undamaged. This is the one that came off there, and it looks okay. It is dirty, so let me hit that with a brush a few times. And lay it in place here. So make sure that this little pin goes down in that U shape of the choke plate. That's what this does. It chokes the engine. Let me find the long screw that holds that in place. And of course, I am not seeing it. There it is. There's one. And I'm going to look at this and make sure it's not too rough, and it is rough. So I'm going to hit this a few times with a wire brush. Where are you, Mr. Wire Brush? All right, so I'm gonna go on, do that a few times. I want this to be slick because that arm has to rotate on this it's like on a pin, you know. You know what, that one is not great. Let me see if I can find a better one. Oh, you'll have fun with this, guys. This is my collection of arms taken from self-priming Briggs & Stratton engines. So let me grab one in here, and I'm sure the screw will be better than that one. That one's pretty mangled. So let me unwrap this thing. Get this tape off of here. And yeah, the head on that one is a little better, and it's definitely newer and cleaner. See that? So let's put this one on here instead of this one. So that's going to go there. This one needs a little brushing too. Let's clean the dirt off. All right, so now this screw here doubles as holding this arm. It also holds the coil in place. So I'm going to drop it down here where it goes. And, oh, that's not right. Okay, never mind. I'm telling you the wrong thing. This screw is going to go into the threads of the carburetor. I was thinking of the old Pulsajet one, but so that's going to go there. Let me just thread it in a few times so it'll stay in place. And now I can attach the coil. I'm going to find the other screw that holds it down, and it is missing. Where are you? There it is. Here's the other one. All right, so let's get this thing in place. Yeah, Yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing mistake on my part because I was trying to tell you to use it to attach the coil, but you don't use 2 standard screws to attach the coil, and then this goes into the top of the carburetor. What was I thinking? All right, and now I've got to gap this coil. First, I want to get it down where it's at least sort of snug, and then I'll back it out a couple of turns, so we go like that. There's 1 turn, there's 1 or 2 turns. So now this coil is loose, and I'm going to swing it around until the magnet engages it. That's the unmagnetized side, and here comes the magnet. Clunk, can you hear that? See, that's rubbing there because that magnet's really strong and grabbing it. Now I'm going to get my 2 little pieces of strips I've cut from my milk jug, which I use over and over again. And I'm going to pop this coil this way and slip this in there between the coil on and the flywheel. And then I do the same thing on this side. And so now they're pretty snug, and now I can snug these things up. And this will have the proper air gap. Let me go ahead and just turn this with my hand a little bit. There, that's snug, and that's snug. Let me pull these out. And look, that looks to be really great, good gaps. Okay, that's, I guess that's enough for now. We're going to continue this assembly when I come back.